Once there was a miller who was poor, but who had a beautiful daughter. Now it happened that he had to go and speak to the king, and in order to make himself appear important, he said to him, "I have a daughter who can spin straw into gold." The king said to the miller, "That is an art which pleases me well. If your daughter is as clever as you say, bring her tomorrow to my palace and I will try what she can do." And when the girl was brought to him, he took her into a room which was quite full of straw. He gave her a spinning wheel and a reel, and said, "Now, set to work, and if by tomorrow morning early you have not spun this straw into gold during the night, then you must die." Thereupon he himself locked the room and left her inside alone. So there sat the poor miller's daughter, and for the life of her she could not tell what to do. She had no idea how straw could be spun into gold, and she grew more and more miserable by the hour, until she began to weep uncontrollably. But all at once the door opened, and in came a little man. "Good evening, Mistress Miller. Why are you crying so?" "Alas," answered the girl, "I have to spin straw into gold, and I don't know how it can be done." "What will you give me if I do it for you?" "My necklace," said the girl. The little man took the necklace and seated himself in front of the wheel, and whir, 3 turns round, and the reel was full. Then he put another, and 3 more turns, and that wheel was also full. And so it went on until the morning, when all of the straw had been spun, and all of the reels were full of gold. By daybreak the king was already there, and when he saw the gold he was astonished and delighted, but his heart became only more greedy. He had the miller's daughter taken into another room full of straw, which was much larger, and he commanded her to spin that also in one night, if she valued her life. The girl knew not how to help herself, and was crying, when the door opened once again, and the little man appeared. "What will you give me if I spin this straw into gold for you?" "The ring on my finger," answered the girl. The little man took the ring, and again began to turn the wheel, and by morning he had spun all of the straw into glittering gold. The king rejoiced beyond measure at the sight, but still he had not enough gold, and he had the miller's daughter taken into an even larger room full of straw. "You must spin this too, over the course of the night, but if you succeed, then you shall be my wife." And he thought, even if she is a miller's daughter, I could not find a richer wife in the whole world. When the girl was alone, the mannequin came again for the 3rd time. "What will you give me if I spin the straw for you this time?" "I have nothing left to give," answered the girl. "Then promise me, if you become queen, your first child shall be mine." Who knows whether that will ever happen, thought the miller's daughter, and not knowing how else to help herself, she promised the mannequin what he wanted, and for that he once more span the straw into gold. When the king came in the morning and found all he had wished, he took her in marriage, and the pretty miller's daughter became a queen. A year after she had a beautiful child, and she never gave another thought to the mannequin, but suddenly he came in her room. "Now, give me what you promised." The queen was horror-struck, and offered the mannequin all of the riches in the kingdom if he would leave her child. "No, something that is living is dearer to me than all of the treasures in the world." The queen began to weep and cry, so that the mannequin pitied her. "I will give you 3 days' time. If by that time you find out my name, then you shall keep your child." So the queen thought the whole night of all of the names she had ever heard, and she sent a messenger over the country to inquire far and wide for any names that might be. When the mannequin came the next day, she began with Caspar, Melchior, Balthazar, and said all of the names that she knew one after the other. But to everyone the little man said the same, "That is not my name." On the 2nd day she had inquiries made in the neighbourhood as to the names of the people that lived there, and she repeated to the mannequin the most uncommon and curious. "Perhaps your name is Short Ribs, or Sheepshanks, or even Lace Leg." But he always answered the same, "That is not my name." On the 3rd day the messenger came back once again. "I have not been able to find a single new name, but as I came to a high mountain at the end of the forest where the fox and the hare bid each other good night, there I saw a little house, and before that house was a fire burning, and round about the fire was quite a ridiculous man, who was jumping. He hopped on one leg and shouted, 'Today I bake, tomorrow I brew, the next I'll have the young queen's child. Ha! Glad I am that no one knew, Rumpelstiltskin I am styled.'" You may think how glad the queen was when she heard the name. "Now, Mistress Queen, what is my name?" "Is your name Conrad?" "No." "Is your name Harry?" "No, it is not." "Then perhaps your name is Rumpelstiltskin."
"The devil has told you that! The devil has told you!"
and in his anger he plunged his right foot so deep into the earth that his whole leg went in, and then in rage he pulled at his left leg so hard with both of his hands that he tore himself in two.